Hey, so this past weekend I did a video about a little more on shackle free and how I see freedom and the pain I've endured, the pain I've had, the pain I was in that day, the anger, the grief. I explained some of that. So a woman I know, we've known each other since she was born. I was almost 7 when she was born. So she's known my family her entire life. And she saw the video. And she texted me today and said how angry that it made her thinking about my parents and how protective she feels for me, which she's told me before. And a few other things. She talked about my resiliency and my strength. She talked about how a lot of people don't understand healing. You know, they think that you're just healed, and it's not the case. Healing is like a spiral, and it takes us time. As we go around that spiral, we'll come back to a similar place again, dealing with a similar wound, or even that same wound, but in a different way, because at that point we've gained more understanding and awareness. So we're able to look at that wound in another layer. So we get to that next layer, and we keep healing these layers until we get to the very root. And often what I do with clients is we start by, I go right in and I help them to release the root. And then we come back up from the root, healing the layers until we get to that true shackle-free freedom. And that's something that we're working on all of our lives, honestly. And it's beautiful. Every layer of healing I get to is more amazing and more incredible than the layer before. I'm constantly impressed with how good it feels to get to that next space. Is it hell in the meantime? Often. But there's also a lot of joy and a lot of laughter. There's such peace knowing that I am owning my pain. I am owning what I'm doing to heal, and I am working daily towards healing and being my best self. And that means for me sharing my story, which publicly is incredibly difficult. Sharing the emotions I shared Saturday on video were incredibly difficult. I've wanted to delete the video I don't know how many times, but I leave it there. I express things openly, honestly, as authentically as I can in that moment, because there is someone else out there that's gone through similar or is feeling similar, yet they feel all alone. They think they are the only person, and they could be surrounded by complete assholes who are telling them that they're crazy. They're messed up. They're broken. That's not necessarily accurate. Crazy? No, I would never call anybody crazy. No, I'd call a few people crazy, but they're usually psychotic, mean, horrible, evil tyrants, dictators, and so forth. And so now you know who I'd call crazy. Moving on. So my friend Renee watched the video and told me these wonderful things in a text. And my response back to her was, I don't have the words to respond to something so beautiful. And then she replied back that I responded perfectly and told me more wonderful things about me. She told me how she sees me, and that I have great strength, and that I'm so great at helping others to heal and helping myself to heal, and that I've come from such horrible, torturous places to where now I have a very healthy, beautiful twin flame-esque, names, whatever. My soulmate, my twin flame, my other person, the one that I feel complete with. I have a very healthy relationship with him, and it's amazing. I never knew it could be like that. For me to be able to have something and to recognize it, I'd have to have healed the root. And that's what I like to start with my clients on, is we go straight to the root. And as we pull out from the root, that thing that we can I help them release through shamanic work, energy healing, things I was born doing. No one understood it. My parents thought I was demon possessed. That's for another video. That's what I do. That's how I help them. They begin to release that root. So it's like I core right to the center of the onion and I take out the bit that's causing the problem. And then they're not healed. They've released the root. But then around that root, as you know, with any kind of tumor or disease, it's around in the tissues, then those have to be cut off. That root has to be cauterized. Those ends that were attached to it have to be cauterized. They have to be sealed off so that they're not still attached to it. Well, then you have to go around and you take off those little bits, but you have to be careful because you're dealing with very precious materials yourself. So as we begin to heal the layers that are around where that root, that deep wound was, we touch into each of those little places that are still raw, that are still begging for help. Those little places that teach us something now, because now we've got a little more awareness, so we're able to understand how we felt then and how that wasn't healthy or whatever we needed. So as we're continuing to go around the spiral to get to a better place of light and healing, every time we come back around, like say for instance, my father, the first time he raped me, it's the only memory I have of him actually doing that. And so when I get triggered by something comes up around that, it's not the actual instance as it was when I first started working on that wound. So let's say today I had an understanding that, I found out that my dad started sleeping in my bed with me right after my brother was born. I didn't have a lot of trigger points around that whole wound anymore because I'd done a lot of work. But when my mom told me that, and I had this new awareness, and I realized, okay, so that's why he was in my bed. Okay, these things are making more sense. But I was able to deal with it without being as stressed out as I had been before. But the thing that I had been wondering was why I used to throw my baby brother out of the car. I was 2.5 when Dennis was born. And apparently, as I was going on to my 3rd year of life, I threw him out of the car as we were pulling into the driveway, thankfully. I don't know if threw him so much as I opened the door and kind of helped him roll out. I honestly don't remember exactly what happened. And however, he never let me forget that. And I understood, finally, most likely, why I tried to get rid of my baby brother. Besides normal sibling rivalry, he was too young for that to be an issue at that stage, it was because my father had started hurting me. And in my child brain, the only way to make that stop was to get rid of the thing that was causing it. I don't think I understood trying to kill him. I just thought if I I was letting him out of the car as a child, that's what I only remember thinking. I was just letting him out of the car. But maybe I was trying to place some kind of blame. I don't know. But that was something else that I had to deal with when I came around to that area again of, okay, I have this new awareness. Let's look back at that time when all of this first started And what did I do as a way of acting out? And that's the only thing I've found. And so that helped me to kind of work with that and to begin to heal that. So if you understand, new awareness, like when the Me Too movement came out, oh my God, so many things came up for me because at that point I realized how many more times I had been sexually assaulted. So that was more layers of going back, cauterizing and helping those parts just slough off so I could let them go back into the earth. And I digress. So as my friend watched that video where I was expressing my pain, and she told me all these beautiful things about myself and how I heal, and my first instincts is always just to go, okay, thanks, and then I start talking about something else. But I can't do that anymore. I started to stop doing that. Earlier, was it late last year? My neurologist, my neurosurgeon actually will tell me he is impressed by me and that I'm impressive, and he admires me by how I am so focused on healing, knowing that there's nothing they can do for my body. But I'm determined to help other people heal. He said he's blown away by the fact that I use my pain to help others, that I see that as a reason to help people. My ENT bowed to me, and her hands together and just bowed and just told me she was so thankful to know me and that I impressed her. And I was like, all right, and I just kind of skittle off. So when my friend says this today, I took a deep breath and I said, thank you. That really feels good. I want to sit with that and let it settle into all of the nooks and crannies that I never allowed to feel good things, because all I could do was brush them off because I couldn't accept hearing good things about myself. They didn't make sense to me. They made me uncomfortable. Amazing. Having someone tell you that you're good can make you feel uncomfortable. But that's exactly what it did. And so I worked with them as best I've been able to. Sorry, my hand was falling. And so I took them in a little sit, and I thought it would be good to do a video because other people might have the same issue. If someone says, hey, Deidre, you're good. Hey, Haley, you are so beautiful and intelligent. I see you. Kendra, you make such a good mommy. I am so proud of you and Deidre and how well you two have faced up to challenges and are still working towards your nursing degree. You both impress me. Haley, you've been through so much, and still you rise, and you love and you protect, and your kindness is enduring. Yeah, those are my three nieces, and they hear these things from me frequently. But imagine if I was saying those things to you as I started out hoping that you would, and then it turned into a little mini love note to my three beautiful, beautiful nieces. So, how would that feel? Karen, Betty, Margaret, Saoirse, Kaylin, Kalea, Diamond, Steve, Brad, Colum, Donal, David, Tom. Just making up names in my head now of different people that I know, just to make it a little more personal to you. How would that feel if someone told you that you're remarkable and you're worthy, and taking the time to heal is worth it? Going through the pain of remembering and digging through to get to the heart, to get to that valuable jewel that you've kept hidden because you couldn't. Oh, it was so scary to get to it. It was so scary to be vulnerable. And every time someone told you that you were worthy, it scared you. Because what if you had to hide it again? How much hurt would that be to hide again if they suddenly turned and told you that you're not worthy? So I sit, and instead of hiding my jewel, my heart, my soul, my courage, my resiliency, my empathy and compassion, I hold it out. I hold it out and I say, sit with this, feel this. I am good. I am worthy. I am valuable. And I am, and you are loved. Sit with it, enjoy it, and let's work together so that all of us can have shackle-free healing and be shackle-free. Thank you. Skyburns.com